Your prayer life is probably selfish and shallow. Welcome back to the Sacred Karma podcast. I'm Vicky, and today we're diving into your prayer life is probably selfish and shallow. I'm going to tell you something about your prayer life that you need to hear. Most of you don't pray. You beg. You don't connect with the divine. You make demands of it. You don't practice gratitude. You perform it when you want something. Your prayer life has become a cosmic vending machine where you insert your requests and expect the universe to dispense your desires. And when it doesn't work the way you want, you either lose faith or blame God for not listening. Today, we're going to confront the truth about why your prayers feel empty, why gratitude feels forced, and what authentic spiritual connection actually requires. Let me paint you a picture that's going to sting. You only pray when you need something. When life is going well, when you're healthy, when your relationships are stable, when your bank account is full, prayer is the last thing on your mind. But the moment something goes wrong, a health scare, a relationship crisis, a financial emergency, suddenly you're on your knees, promising God everything if only they'll fix your problem. That's not prayer, that's spiritual extortion. You're essentially saying to the universe, I'll acknowledge you exist if you give me what I want. Here's my question. If your best friend only contacted you when they needed money, would you consider them a friend? Then why do you think God should be impressed with your crisis-driven spirituality? The truth is that most people treat the divine like a cosmic insurance policy, ignored when things are fine, desperately needed when things fall apart. And then they wonder why their prayers feel empty and their spiritual life feels fake. Now let's talk about your gratitude practice, because I guarantee it's mostly performative nonsense. You've been told that gratitude is important, so you dutifully write in your gratitude journal, I'm grateful for my health, my family, my job. The same three things every day, with all the emotional depth of a grocery list, or you perform gratitude in your prayers. Thank you for all my blessings, you say, before immediately launching into your list of demands, like you're buttering up the universe before you hit it up for favors. Here's my challenge. Right now, think of something you're genuinely grateful for. Not something you think you should be grateful for, but something that actually moves you. How did that feel different from your usual gratitude routine? Did you actually feel something? Or were you just cycling through your standard checklist? Real gratitude isn't a spiritual discipline you perform. It's an emotional response to recognizing something precious in your life. If you're not feeling it, you're just going through the motions. Let's get really direct now. You measure the effectiveness of your prayers by whether you get what you asked for. If your prayers are answered the way you want, then God is good and prayer works. If they're not, then either God isn't listening or prayer is pointless. But here's what's actually happening. You're trying to use prayer to control outcomes instead of using it to align with reality. You're praying for the universe to conform to your will instead of opening yourself to divine will. That prayer for the perfect job? You're not really praying. You're trying to manipulate cosmic forces. That prayer for your ex to come back? You're not seeking divine guidance. You're using God as a relationship counselor who always sides with you. Are you praying to connect with the divine or to get the divine to do your bidding? Those are two completely different spiritual practices. Here's something that's going to make religious people furious. Most of your prayers are rooted in entitlement, not humility. You pray for good health as if you deserve it more than the people who are sick. You pray for financial abundance as if you're more worthy than people who are struggling. You pray for your team to win as if God should care about your sports preferences. You've turned prayer into a cosmic complaint department where you list everything wrong with your life and demand fixes. Like you're owed a perfect existence, and prayer is how you file your grievances. Reality check. You're not special. Your problems aren't more important than anyone else's. Your desires aren't more valid than other people's needs. The universe doesn't owe you anything just because you remembered to say please and thank you. Real prayers starts with recognizing that you are not the center of the cosmic story. You're a participant in something much larger than yourself. And prayer is how you learn to play your part with grace instead of demanding that the whole play revolve around you. So, what does authentic prayer actually look like? It's not about getting what you want, it's about wanting what you get. It's not about changing your circumstances, it's about changing your relationship to your circumstances. Authentic prayer is a conversation, not a monologue. You speak, but you also listen. You ask, but you also receive whatever answer comes, including silence, including no, including something completely different from what you expected. Authentic prayer is about aligning your will with divine will, not trying to get divine will to align with yours. It's about finding peace with what is, not demanding that what is becomes what you want. But here's the catch: this kind of prayer requires you to surrender control. It requires you to accept that you might not get what you want, and that might actually be what's best for you. It requires spiritual maturity that most people aren't ready for. Let's talk about what real gratitude looks like, because it's probably nothing like what you've been practicing. Real gratitude isn't about being thankful for the good things in your life. That's easy. That's spiritual kindergarten. Real gratitude is being thankful for your life exactly as it is, including the parts you don't like, the challenges you're facing, the problems you haven't solved. Real gratitude says, thank you for this difficulty that's teaching me strength. Thank you for this loss that's showing me what really matters. Thank you for this failure that's humbling my ego and opening my heart. That's terrifying, isn't it? The idea of being grateful for your problems? But that's where real spiritual transformation happens, when you can find the gift in everything, not just the stuff that feels good. Instead of praying for your problems to go away, try praying for wisdom to understand what they're teaching you. Instead of asking for your circumstances to change, ask for strength to meet them with grace. Now let's bust another myth. Praying with others doesn't automatically make your prayers more powerful. It just makes your spiritual mediocrity collective instead of individual. If you're gathering with other people to collectively beg the universe for stuff, you haven't elevated your prayer life. You've just created a spiritual support group for entitlement. If you're coming together to perform gratitude while harboring resentment and judgment, you're just doing community theater, not community worship. Real group prayer happens when people come together in authentic surrender, when they're willing to be vulnerable about their struggles and honest about their need for grace. But most religious communities are too busy maintaining their spiritual image to risk that kind of authenticity. So here's my question. When you pray with others, are you actually more connected to the divine? Or are you just more comfortable because you are not alone in your spiritual mediocrity? And while we're busting myths, let's talk about this idea that praying in nature automatically makes your prayers more authentic. Nature doesn't make your prayers better. It just makes your spiritual bypassing more scenic. If you're still approaching prayer with the same entitlement, the same results obsession, the same performative gratitude, then a beautiful sunset isn't going to transform your spiritual shallowness. Nature can inspire awe, and awe can open your heart to gratitude. But if you're using nature as a spiritual prop, instead of letting it teach you about acceptance, impermanence, and your place in the larger web of existence, then you're missing the point. Real connection with nature through prayer means recognizing that you are part of a system that's much larger and more complex than your personal desires. It means accepting that seasons change, that storms come, that growth requires both sunshine and rain. So here's the ultimate test of whether your prayer life is authentic or just spiritual performance. Is it changing you? Not your circumstances, you. Are you becoming more patient, more compassionate, more humble, more accepting? Are you becoming less demanding, less entitled, less focused on getting your way? If your prayer life isn't transforming your character, then it's not prayer. It's just wishful thinking with religious vocabulary. If you're not becoming a better person through your spiritual practice, then you're not actually practicing spirituality. You're just performing it. Real prayer shows you who you really are underneath all your spiritual pretenses. It reveals your selfishness, your fear, your need for control. And then it invites you to surrender all of that and trust something larger than yourself. But most people don't want to be transformed. They want to be validated. They want God to confirm that they're already good enough, that their desires are justified, that their prayers deserve to be answered. You can continue treating prayer like a cosmic customer service line where you file complaints and make requests. You can keep performing gratitude while harboring entitlement. You can keep measuring the value of your spiritual practice by whether it gets you what you want. Or you can start praying like you actually believe in something larger than yourself. You can start practicing gratitude for what is, not just what feels good. You can start using prayer to transform yourself instead of trying to use it to control your circumstances. But here's what I want you to understand. Authentic prayer is not about getting more comfortable. It's about getting more real. It's not about having your desires fulfilled. It's about having your ego dissolved. It's not about getting what you want. It's about wanting what serves the highest good. The question isn't whether God listens to your prayers. The question is whether you're ready to listen to God's response even when it's not what you wanted to hear. I'm challenging you to stop using prayer to get what you want and start using it to become who you're meant to be. Until next time, pray like you mean it, be grateful for what is, and remember, the divine doesn't exist to serve you. You exist to serve the divine. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Sacred Karma podcast. This is Vicky, signing off with love, grace, and peace.